As for solar farms, they produce an entirely different set of problems, although they also are very harmful for birds.
I was like, please tell me about how much they hurt birds. It's halfway done almost. We've learned so much about the birds. Oh man. Has he not seen Birdemic? They're vicious. They're vicious. They're killers. Have you seen the bald eagles in Birdemic? Come on, man. This one's got a good name. PragerPoo presents Do We Have to Destroy the Earth to Save It?
To destroy the environment to save it? That's the question I faced a few years ago. I co-founded a movement that was the precursor to the Green New Deal. It was called the New Apollo Project. If we could send a man to the moon, we reasoned, surely we could save our own planet. All we had to do was harness the power of the wind and the sun and get rid of fossil fuels. Compared to the original Apollo mission, how hard could that be? Well, it turned out to be very hard, practically impossible, in fact. The basic laws of physics and chemistry proved to be very stubborn. But as I did more and more research, something else began to trouble me. The prospect that pushing the planet toward wind and solar energy would actually cause more harm to the environment than good. There's no better example of this than what wind and solar energy do to birds. Industrial wind turbines, those giant generators of wind power, are the greatest new threat to golden and bald eagles.
I'm trying not to do this thing anymore where I'm just condescending because I don't think I convert anybody. I think if someone's watching this, on YouTube or on Twitch, they're just like, well, yeah, he's just, a C word. He's a stuck-up C word, a C word from the P word. That's it. I'm just a C word from the P word, and but PragerPoo makes it hard. Like, yeah, that's shitty. I agree. I don't want to see bald eagles get sliced up in the machines. I don't know what the statistics are. How many bald eagles die every year? You know what'll kill the bald eagles is the global warming. That'll roast them up nice. They'll be bald souffle. I was gonna say. What's the one where they cook the duck in its own fat? Someone here is going to get it. Someone will get it before I did. And speaking of condescending and confit, thank you. Speaking of bougie, all right, bougie is good. Yes, bald confit, eagle confit is what we're going to experience. But anyways, this is just asinine to unbelievable degrees. Like, this is an actual Donald Trump talking point that everyone laughed off. But they're running with it.
But the eagles are hardly the only ones threatened. Condors, owls, hawks, and falcons all fall prey to the turbine's mighty...
What do you think is going to happen to all these creatures with global warming? Like, do you think they're all exempt? Do they fly to a better place? Is that what you're hoping?
The turbine's mighty blades. Big wind... And believe me, there's a big wind industry now, just like there's big oil and big pharma.
Oh.
Claims that house cats kill more birds than wind turbines. That's true, but whereas cats kill small, common birds like sparrows, wind turbines kill big, threatened with...
This is one of the better PragerPoo. This one actually makes me happy. I'm here for this.
Extinction and slow to reproduce species like bald eagles and condors. Indeed, industrial wind farms are killing fields for birds.
It's still the point. I hope this is the only point they make the whole time. I hope the whole thing is about the bird genocide at the half. But the birds. Oh yes, and then yes, it's completely true. The cats kill more per year, but not the big ones. We're losing the condors and the bald eagles to big wind.
The more turbines you put up, the more birds you're going to slaughter. According to the
Can we just Can we just see that one more time? Hold on.
The more turbines you put up, the more birds you're going to slaughter. According to the American Bird Conservancy in 2017, research shows that hundreds of thousands of birds and bats die every year when they accidentally collide with the turbine blades. That number grows with each turbine built. The Royal Society for the Preservation of Birds reports that wind farms built off the coast of Britain could be the final nail in the coffin for endangered seabirds. The Center for Biological Diversity calls the Altamont Pass wind farm in California a population sink for golden eagles as well as burrowing owls. As for solar farms, they produce an entirely different set of problems, although they also are very harmful for birds.
I was like, please tell me about how much they hurt birds. It's halfway done almost. We've learned so much about the birds. Oh man. Has he not seen Birdemic? They're vicious. They're vicious. They're killers. Have you seen the bald eagles in Birdemic? Come on, man.
In California, according to a federal report, massive solar arrays produce heat up to 900 degrees. When birds fly into those arrays, they simply burn up. Building a solar farm is a lot like building any other kind of massive industrial facility. You have to clear the whole area of wildlife. For example, in order to construct the Ivanpah Solar Farm in California near the Nevada border, developers hired biologists to pull threatened desert tortoises from their burrows. The tortoises were then loaded on the back of pickup trucks and caged in pens, where many ended up dying. Solar farms also need millions and millions of gallons of water to clean.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care if I'm not converting anyone with this. This is a gift. This is a gift, and I'm gonna take it. We deserve this. It's been a rough year. It's 2020's been a hard time, so I don't care. I don't care if I'm not converting a single person. I'm gonna enjoy this one. I don't even need to pull up facts and figures and statistics.
In the mirrors and to generate power. Since most solar farms are built in the desert, we're talking about a precious resource already in short supply. When push comes to shove, water could become the real throttle on renewable solar energy, according to Michael Weber, professor of mechanical engineering at the University of Texas at Austin. Then there's the issue of what to do with solar panels that wear out. The panels contain lead and other toxic chemicals.
Okay, so Finally, I was like, I don't know why you're spending so much time on the creatures, because I guess maybe he's trying, like, the whole point of this video is to appeal to vegans and people who are deeply into animal rights, because trust me, there's not a lot of crossover with climate denialism and the animal rights movement. Like, not much of, never the twain shall mix. But this is true, like what he's talking about now. This if you wanted to go down this road, that probably would have been a better argument to start with. At least it would have been a little bit more based in science.
Since it's far cheaper for solar manufacturers to just buy the raw materials than recycle old panels, those old panels end up in landfills. Or, as the New York Times discovered in a 2019 investigation, dumped in poor African nations. Wind turbines may have an even worse disposal problem than solar panels. First, they are gigantic. A single blade can be longer than a wing on a jumbo jet. Second, they're made of fiberglass, which has to be cut by a diamond-studded saw to be carted away on giant trucks.
This is how they're made. That is the size that they are. That's how they generate electricity. It takes a lot to spin and then move the magnet inside to generate mechanical energy and transform it into electrical energy. That you are describing the process.
And as with solar panels, the only thing to do is bury them, toxic materials and all. This is done, as you can imagine, in enormous pits, creating yet another landfill problem. All this environmental degradation is happening on a relatively small scale right now because we get less than 10% of our electricity from wind and solar sources. If we were really to embark on a wind and solar build-out of the kind environmentalists advocate, the damage would be much, much greater.
And we know exactly what that'll look like. I've got it right here.
I'm not worried about the blackbirds. They're not the dangerous animal. It's the human species that's the dangerous, menacing, and terrifying animal.
Well, that's horrifying. I don't know if that's the future you want.
Consider this. Today's energy system requires just 0.5% of the land in the US. If we were to get all the energy we now use from wind and solar, at least 25% of all land in the US would be required. That's a lot of dead wildlife. Doesn't sound very green, does it? I'm Michael Schellenberger, founder and president of Environmental Progress and author of Apocalypse Never for Prager University.
I needed that. That was actually wonderful. That's might be my favorite PragerU video, I think, of all time. Like, I never thought they would take this angle when it came to global warming. So many animals dead. Like, on a totally, like, non-comedic note, if you're going to come on PragerU and you know, espouse how all the animals will die if we implement these renewable energy, I don't think this is the way you're going to catch people. Birds of Britain.
But what is water? It's a difficult question because water is impossible to describe. One might ask the same about birds. What are birds? We just don't know.
He's not wrong. He's certainly not wrong. I almost want to, like, learn more about this guy. He seems neat. He seems very neat. Why I changed my mind about nuclear power. Oh, as in, like, he's for nuclear power. Okay, good. As he should be. But see, here's the problem, mate. If he's honestly in favor of nuclear power, and he's like, I understand that the idea, the pipe dream behind all these renewable resources, such as having you know, all our power come from wind power, all our power come from solar power, those aren't actually going to save the planet, not in the amount of time we have. We have a finite amount of time. It's very, very important that we go forward and we put forward policies that will actually you know, steer the course in the opposite direction. Like, we just don't have time for systems that actually do not negate the amount of CO2 that we produce in order to get our energy needs. So nuclear power would do that. All great, all fine, totally fine. Don't go on PragerU. Don't take a paycheck from Dennis Prager to then become a stooge. Because now you're a stooge, and you're forever going to be a stooge. You're going to be remembered as the bird guy. Like, that's all I'll think anytime I see. Like, I can't take him seriously. I'm not going to listen to his TED talk. I'm not going to give him the time of day. He's the PragerU bird guy, and that's all I'll ever know him for. So I hope it was worth the paycheck. That's all I'll say. And PragerU, if you're watching, I will sell out for any amount at all. I will accept whatever amount you're willing to give me in order to say whatever you want me to say, and I will give you the most amazing anecdote. I will shill for very, very little, and I will give you whatever anecdote you need. Why I'm a tanky. That'll be my PragerU. Why I became a tanky. I'm Lance of the Serfs for PragerU. I've already got the ending down. Book review: Bad Science and Bad Arguments are abound in Apocalypse Never by Michael Schellenberger, a new book that critiques environmentalism as deeply and fatally flawed. Well, what a surprise. But there's money in it, I guess.
To our God, I'm Wrath. We pray at your altar of awesomeness. To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Stephen, Ninetails Cosmic Fox, Hans Josephine, and Poppy Nelson, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our Knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Bite, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chutzkoff, Skybear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Ali Menthol, Jimmy Big Nuts, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Man, and Bryn, we salute you. And to our many merchants and farmers, you have our undying love